Hello, Whovian dudes. Here we are, guys. We're going to discuss The Magician's Apprentice. All right, man. Now we have our buddy here, Lee Wilson, who I'll introduce to everybody. He's one of our friends that happens to really dislike Daleks, man. It's not a big fan of him, man. So I am curious what he did think about this episode. So take it away there, Lee.
Where to start? Well, I agree with what everybody has said. I totally agree with Jimmy's point about Kate Stewart, scientific advisor of unit, not knowing all this about the planes and stuff, and it takes a teacher to explain it to her, which is a bit strange. It was a epic. It had a movie feel about it. The imagery, absolutely brilliant. Say Julian Bleach's Davros, you can't go wrong. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, to me, I saw it as who has been in Davros's life constantly. He's, the Doctor. Davros is dying. So what does he want to do? He's the only person he sees as a friend through his life. Is the Doctor. So also he wants a final solution to the Doctor problem. I see that Davros sees him as his only friend in his life, to be honest. That's me anyway. But and it worked for me because the Daleks wasn't in it until the final 10 minutes or so, and that worked. It really did work because they didn't overshadow the full episode. And for a season opener, it's going to take a lot to beat this. So hopefully this full season is as high as this is, even the finale. Because if it goes downhill after this, well, you've got to have a constant with this now. If you're going to hit it running with this, like with this episode, you've got to keep it constant through the season. So hopefully it's not going to dip. But acting, brilliant. And I agree with Beef Dad, Michelle Gomez. I'm not a big fan of the Lady Master, but she did. You could see, as I said, a bit of Delgado there. You could. And she wasn't over the top. She even gave the Dalek a little tickle on his bump. It was. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So there's a surprise. It's going to be a 10.
Oh, good gosh. Lee gave it a 10, man. Awesome, man. I'm glad you enjoyed the opener, man. That's freaking sweet, man.
Alert. Lee gave it a 10. Alert.
Yeah, right.
Alert.
I don't know, man.
One thing, though, what did puzzle me, the Dalek agent, the middle-aged guy, from the Middle Ages, when he was looking for the TARDIS, why did he look in a small chest?
I don't know. I know. Maybe...
Go on, Tim. I think you were going to say, yeah.
I think it was pointed out on a different cast yesterday. It was something I didn't catch at the time, but when the snake bit him, he became one of those Dalek agents. Before that, he was the Doctor's friend. But since the snake man, one of his, remember he was being choked by the snake, he became a Dalek agent at that point. I'm not sure why he was looking in the chest, but he was looking for the TARDIS. In other words, he transformed. He's no longer the person he was until that point. That's the impression we got.
Right.
Yeah.
In the Doctor's meditations, it's pointed out that he's an idiot.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I heard that too, Tim. Yeah, that makes the most sense. I guess it could have been in him all the time, but I don't know if they can. If the snake can carry, I guess, the Dalek gene or virus and then put it in somebody, then there you go.
Which raises a question. If the Dalek virus is in the snakes, and Davros is implying he's not controlling the Daleks, don't think he's leading us on a bit there. I think there's a bit more to play, which will be shown in episode 2 most likely.
Oh yeah,
you have to wonder though why then, because when their hands were bound with the snake, why the snake didn't bite them, Missy, Clara, and the Doctor. So you never know. It could just be a plot hole.
True. Or yeah, that's true. But I guess I'll say what I feel real quick. Of course, I enjoyed this one. My views of it from yesterday have not changed. I did watch it 3 more times afterwards, so I have about 4 under my belt thus far. I'll probably watch it again later tonight. I enjoyed it, man. And like somebody said, the beginning, well, first before the credits, of course, you have the Davros reveal, which was like a holy crap moment right before the credits, man. But the beginning, right after the credits, when the Snake dude's just traveling around looking for the doctor, I thought that was cool because he was in that cantina place, man. Which I always love. I love a scene where you see a bunch of creatures all at the same time because that always reminds me of Star Wars, on Tatooine, and I swear, still, fourth time watching, there was a Jawa in there with his eyes closed, man. I swear, man. But I didn't pause it, but I thought I saw him there, and you know what? If it was, awesome, man, awesome, because that's where we did get the spotted Ood. Was there a Sycorax in there? No? Yeah? Okay. So we got to see a couple guys like that. Then later on, we got to then see a Jadoon, man. With his helmet on, kind of pisses me off, dude. Come on. We want to see, we want to see their... I was hoping they would say something because their language can't be beat. That's the greatest language ever. Everything, man. Everything you guys said positive about it. The whole Missy interaction with Clara in that little, at the table, and even Clara messing with her head, telling her a couple things about the doctor. Even mentioned that it was possibly she knew him as a young girl. But she could. One of the things she said was a lie. Could Clara figure it out? Just to throw one at us. Of course, which I think is cool. I think that stuff. The visual effects were great, man. Were great, especially on a snake, man. That looked really cool. It didn't come off cheesy, man. Something like that could have really came off cheesy. But I like the idea of it's not even a single being. It's a bunch of snakes together, I guess, from the planet of snakes somewhere, and they're like just I don't know how many snakes. Could have had a couple hundred snakes just all in one. To create this one being that even has their own council to discuss things. That's pretty freaking cool, man. So I did dig that because I always dig a new idea for Doctor Who, a new alien creature. As for classics, Jesus, man. It gave us Davros, man. It gave us Missy. Really, this one, like I said yesterday, really putting it out there. She's the master, man. And she's not good, okay? She's not good, and that's great because I don't ever want the master to be good, dude. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not saying I would love the master to travel around Doctor for a season. I'm all in for that, but never to be completely good, man, because that is the Doctor's ultimate foe to me. But she was great. Clara was great. A little bit of Clara we got there. It was kind of cool just seeing her right into the mix of things. The Doctor come on the guitar. Jesus, man. Introduced, like we said, the word dude a couple centuries earlier. Come on, man. That's a cool Doctor. We're going on a ride right now with this Doctor. This is the cool Doctor. This guy is freaking cool, man. And he's got a lot of cool things he's going to show us this season. I guarantee it, man. I am excited, man. The throwbacks to the different images of the other Doctors discussing things with Davros was cool. To me, it went by fast for me watching this because to me it was just throwing stuff right in my face, man, like one after another, man, all at once. But like one of you said, yeah, it's kind of got a lot to live up to now because now it's got a good setup for the season, man. And I hope like Tim said, yeah, it's going to stretch out over the season. You might not be a mention. I know next week, yeah, but hopefully if they don't just wrap it all up real quick. I hope not. I hope it's something drawn out of it because this is really, really interesting. What's the master up to? What is she up to, man? What is she up to? She has some kind of plan. I can't think of anything bad, guys. And I know Graham said the music was a little off here and there where you couldn't hear them. Yeah, a little bit here and there. But if you have it turned up loud enough, you really don't notice it really too much. The end, man. Let me just say, the Doctor saying exterminate at the end with the Dalek stalk gun or whatever. My guess is he's not going to shoot that kid. My guess is he's going to shoot the hands. But you know what? That's just a guess I'm throwing out there. So I can't give it anything less than a 10 out of 10 for this story, man. I was excited, man. I was pumped. I talked out loud a couple times. It was exciting. So there you go, guys. I really don't have too much more to say on it. I'll open up the floor now. If you guys have some more you want to add or some ideas you have that might possibly. I know Beat Dad has something cooked up, so take it away.
Dude, that they were in 12th century Essex at the time, so that was 800 years, not a couple of centuries, 8 centuries. Well, I have a theory that quite possibly Missy is in league with the Daleks, because I think there's something going on there between the two. I think the Doctor is aware that something is going on and he's playing a long game on all this. As far as the possible killing of Davros is concerned, I think you're absolutely right. I think he will shoot the hands, lead the boy to safety. I don't know if that's going to help very much, but I think that a lot of people have said, well, they're not going to get rid of those two people or the TARDIS in the first episode of the new season. They've been, well, should we say, dismantled and put to one side. It's been done before. They have taken companions and sent them off somewhere else into some kind of prison or whatever. I think that's probably what they've done again.
I agree, because there were no bodies either. They just disappeared. I mean, whereas in the past, in the classic series, you would see guys get shot. They would go into, what do you call it, X-ray look, and then you'd see the bodies on the floor.
That's it. I mean, they've never changed that, though. This is the thing. I mean, if you watched the ones in the new era, I don't recall seeing anybody being completely vaporized. Dalek. They always leave a bunch of bodies lying everywhere.
Yeah.
In Dalek, you know, the one that was set in the museum, you had bodies laying everywhere. And if that was a Dalek that fought in the Time War, then that would have been probably one of the most modern Daleks that they had. So if anyone was going to be vaporized, he would have vaporized them. So yeah, it's not a case of vaporizing. They've been transported, and I think Missy is in on it because she seemed so confident. But I think there's a little bit more to it.
I like those scenes though she had with like somebody mentioned, very Delgado-ish with when she's with Clara. It reminds you of those scenes from the classics where whenever him and Joe were locked up together or they were arguing about something, and you know, Joe would stand up to him because she was no longer a scared little assistant anymore. So I mean,
Right.
It's kind of got that vibe from that scene. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very much a hit. Hark back to the classics. I think they might actually have listened to what the fans have said.
I think Clara said it in the episode. The Doctor's been lying, and he knew Missy wasn't dead. I think the Doctor and she have been working together for a while now, planning this behind the Daleks' backs.
Yeah.
Working with Missy.
That's a bigger picture. But how they have it set up now, and we haven't seen this since, like the Pertwee era, really. What if we get a few episodes without any TARDIS, man, where he just doesn't have it, where, you know, he's kind of looking for it in a way? You think that would work?
I don't think that would work at this kind of time in the series because it's a much shorter run of episodes. I mean, maybe in a two-parter or something where he doesn't have it, but
yeah.
It's such a big part of it. It's how he gets around. It's how the stories are created, basically. So the reason that worked back then was because they were going with a different format where he was trapped and had no use for it and was basically just part of a military organization. It was that kind of show they were making at that time. I don't think they would go back for a big run of episodes. We only got 12.
Yeah.
Maybe the Arcus series is search for the TARDIS.
Well, yeah, well, that,
How would he get around though?
well, he would be, I
Yeah.
guess he would have, it's hard to say because we don't know exact, well, he's on Skara right now. Like, what if he gets stranded on Earth again? Davros beams him there and he has to work with UNIT for a while. But then those kinds of stories, like, it might not work today. That could bore people.
Well, he saw the TARDIS destroyed, so how is he going to go back in time again, like with the Dalek weapon?
Vortex
Yeah,
manipulator.
Exactly.
Well, also they're playing around with they're answering. Well, they may be answering the question that was asked back in Genesis: the Daleks. Does he have the right to do that? I mean, remember he ifed and butted back then, and so he didn't wipe them out before. A lot of people insinuate that that's what started the whole Time War business was the Time Lords being that sneaky and having him go back and try and nip them in the bud before they were even made. But then again, you see him in the same position at the end of this story. He's over there with a gun. He can change their history completely by wiping out that one little kid. But at the end of the day, the Doctor doesn't kill children. So I mean,
No, that's what I mean. That's rough too. If he does pull the trigger and kills him, no matter who that is, we gotta really dark Doctor.
that would never happen. It's the same old question.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, you would never. It's the same old question. Would you kill Hitler as a child if you had the opportunity to? And nobody can answer that because it's impossible. But you get it's that question that gets brought up from time to time. Would you change history like that if you could? That's what Genesis of the Daleks was all about, really.
Also, I hope they're not going to leave it as a plot hole, but I hope they explain in the next episode why Davros never recognised the Doctor in the past, but he's just remembering now. I think they've got to explain that.
What do you mean?
The screwdriver. He was given the screwdriver when he was a kid. So.
Well, like Tim said, maybe his timeline changed, man.
His timeline changed.
Well,
No,
it's
true.
I hope
Think about it.
don't leave it till
No,
next
think
week.
about it. Davros's timeline changed the minute he picked up that screwdriver because that never happened before. When he meets Tom Baker's Doctor in Genesis, they've never met before. Now, just by him being there and giving that kid that screwdriver, they've met before that. So it changes Davros's history. That's how time travel is. I mean, one tiny event can change a whole history of a person. That's why they have to be very careful, these Time Lords and stuff. Which is why they're not supposed to meddle and stuff.
Obviously, I mean, we've all watched the show here. We're big fans, and since it is time travel, anything is possible. Again, except for saving Amy and Rory for some odd reason. But other than that, everything else is pretty much possible, man.
well, he wouldn't recognize. He'd recognize the sonic screwdriver. He wouldn't recognize the Doctor because it was his 12th incarnation, not his 4th or 5th or 6th.
On top of that, we don't know where Davros has been. He could have linked up with the Daleks. They could have fed him some new Doctor info on the Doctor and all this and that, maybe woke up a memory that he once forgotten, possibly. I don't know. I don't know if they'll explain it or not. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't get it. What
when
is the question? Sorry.
you get very old, you forget things.
Yeah, and he's obviously been put through the ringer. I mean, he was once a normal person, and now he's a thing in a box. So I mean, he may have forgotten. But what was the question? Why he didn't recognize Capaldi's Doctor when he saw him?
No, I'm on about the screwdriver. The screwdriver. He's had the screwdriver all his life now, and it's affected his timeline. So every Doctor he's met up with has had a screwdriver. You thought he'd have started remembering way back
That's
when.
what I mean. In other words, those timelines are different now. Timelines are different now. Doesn't mean you can't go back and watch the episode. It didn't change it the way. But see, this is the problem with retconning things. That's what pisses people off sometimes. But I mean, in a way, it's just for this one story, and things will probably go back to the way they were at some point. The funny thing I thought was that you see this old Davros over there holding the screwdriver like it's his favorite toy, and it's like we've only just seen the Doctor give it to him when he was a young kid. In other words, this Doctor hasn't had that screwdriver for a long time, as far as that guy's timeline is, and that guy's had it his whole life. So
Right.
that changes his.
Well, yeah, Tim, unless for some reason at some point of his childhood or growing up, he locked away that sonic screwdriver and his memories were erased of it, dude. And he just recently got the memories back of what happened between him and the doctor when he was a child. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, I don't know. They might say something next week on that.
We'll
I think
find
they
out.
will. I think that you are going to see something next week that's going to reveal what's
Can't wait.
exactly going on. Because the doctor knows what he's doing. He's not.
Yeah.
He's playing a game here.
Okay, I've got a question for all of you. The title of the episode. Who was the magician's apprentice?
That's a very good question.
At the end of it, I'm like, hang on. All right, so clearly in the prologue,
I'm guessing. You know what? Now that you say it, if I had to throw it out there, Steve, I would guess it's that snake guy. And the only reason I say that with the Apprentice thing, the beginning, right after the credits, was very Star Wars-ish to me a bit. Like, especially in the canteen and such. And the Apprentice thing is a big Star Wars thing they throw around, this and that. He was kind of acting like I guess he was working for Davros. I mean, we still don't know where he comes from. So I'm guessing he's the apprentice to the magician who is Davros.
who was the, yeah, okay. But I mean,
That would be my guess.
Capaldi wasn't that good at magic when he was doing that coin thing, and the idiots
No.
there in your hand. So we know it's not the doctor who's the apprentice, or he's certainly
No,
not.
I think the doctor is the magician, and that was his apprentice, the young guy that was, or the bearded guy that was hanging out with him throughout the 3 or 4 weeks they were having that party. So
It's interesting though that the title of the show, no one's actually brought it up yet.
Well, we do know what's next week, the which is familiar. So that's pretty much the same thing, just different wording. So you got a witch, which is usually a cat. I don't know. Which is usually a witch's cat, like a familiar, their pet animal or something. Which then again, the master Missy did throw out that Clara is like a dog with the couple. So animals are usually familiars to witches. So there you go. So I don't know.
Or gorillas like the Mighty Boosh.
Or gorillas, yes.
But that was also a throwaway comment by the master. He's got 3 hats. 3 snipers for each hat. I thought Time Lords only had 2.
No, I think she was just implying that was the only way she could be taken out, with 3 snipers for the hearts.
She said 3 snipers for each heart. That's what she said.
And one for the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But
bonkers anyway. She even sets it up like that's the only way you'll be comfortable to talk to me is you have that set up. So just go ahead and bring it on. Yeah.
And so Beef Dad will remember this as well. There was also a nod to an old children's program when Miss Head came through the TV screen. Play School.
Yeah, play school. Yes, I'm speaking to you through the square window.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You would if you'd been a kid growing up during the 70s and 80s, that is a real reminder for any kids of that period of play school. Yeah, definitely. Oh, and if anyone's interested, our overall rating averaged out at 8.45.
8.45, you say?
Yeah.
Not too shabby for an opener, man. I will say this, as much as I loved last year's opener, I'll have to say I did enjoy this one a bit more, man. And I'm glad it's going that way, man. And I hope it keeps going that way, man, where it's just exciting adventure right in your face. I loved it, and most of the guys here loved it. We do want to definitely hear from the other guys out there. Leave some comments on our channel here. Let us know how you felt about the story, what you liked about it or what you didn't like about it, man. We'd love to hear from you guys.
I got that wrong. 9.45.
Oh, 9.45. All right. Thank you, Pete. All right. Pretty swell, man. Pretty swell. I want to thank my friends here for joining us again. And, definitely check out some of our other videos. Check out our buddies' videos. And just keep on hooing, everybody. Until next week, man. Be there or be square.